Hey, Inside Crypto people, welcome back to the first podcast of 2024. Happy New Year. It's so good to be back. Today we're starting off with a brand new show. It's just me, my talking head, talking about the 5 stories you might have missed when it comes to Bitcoin. And of course, it's got to be Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin has been everything anyone's been talking about for the last 3 months of 2023. And of course, I think 2024 is going to be pretty much all about that. Maybe a little bit of Solana and Ethereum sprinkled in there. But this show is going to focus specifically on Bitcoin. First, we're going to talk about Bitcoin's price action a little bit, and then some of the stories you might have missed this week. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right, our first story today has got to be this Bitcoin price chart. So one of the stories we'll see later, literally after we talk about the price, right, is that Bitcoin hit $47,000 yesterday, which shows it was about 3:15. So that would have been 3:15 my time when I was asleep. It would have been 3:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So New York, Boston, that sort of stuff. And then it's sort of come down. So it's hovering about $46,766 at the moment. And as you can see, around about the same price for the last few hours. I read them to today. And you know why that is happening, right? Of course, everyone's looking forward to the SEC Bitcoin spot ETF decision. That's all I'm going to say about that. Definitely check out this chart on CoinGecko.com and let us know what you think, right? It's been an interesting run, right? Going back from the beginning of the year, 43,000 in January, right? And slowly, steadily climbed up. And let's see what happens over the next few days. And with that, let's move on to our next story. As I mentioned before, Bitcoin touches $47,000 for the first time since April 2022. That is a long time ago. As investors brace for landmark ETF decision, Bitcoin rose to a 21-month high, above $47,000 to start the week. On Monday, the cryptocurrency was last higher by more than 6% to $46,924.38, according to Coinmetrics, as BlackRock, Grayscale, and other potential Bitcoin ETF issuers submitted final updates to the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. The last time it traded over 47,000 was April 2022. Bitcoin's big move also coincided with a decline in bond yields. The yield on the 10-year Treasury note lost nearly 4 basis points on Monday. The optimism around Bitcoin helped push Ether higher by 4%. Several of the firms vying for a Bitcoin ETF have also filed applications to launch spot Ether ETFs. The SEC's deadline on those will come later in the year. The move pushed crypto equities higher too. Coinbase edged higher by 3.5%. Miners enjoyed big gains. Riot Platforms, Marathon Digital each were up more than 7%, while Iris Energy rose nearly 4% and CleanSpark advanced 5%. Many investors say the day one effect of an approval has been overestimated, but that nevertheless the event itself would create new pathways for inflows into Bitcoin from institutions with a longer view. Galaxy Digital, which has partnered with Invesco on its proposed Bitcoin ETF, estimates the addressable market size of a US Bitcoin ETF to be roughly $14 trillion. In the first year, that is pretty impressive. So an addressable market size, for those who are not familiar, is just like the size of the total market, the amount of possible money that exists in a Bitcoin spot ETF. $14 trillion is a huge amount of money. That's 12 zeros. That's the GDP of some of the world's biggest economies in the world. So definitely something to keep an eye on. And let's move on to story number 2. I apologize, you guys can't read the headlines, but this is just what it's going to be like for today. Here's why Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy are buying all the Bitcoin they can get their hands on. For many equity investors, Michael Saylor may not be a household name, but for crypto investors, Michael Saylor is legendary for his bullish stance on Bitcoin. Again, if you're new to Bitcoin, you might not have heard about Michael Saylor. He's all over Twitter. He's on YouTube as well. But basically, this guy has been buying Bitcoin like crazy since forever. He used to be the CEO of MicroStrategy. He's still part of the board or some sort of leadership position there. And he's been buying Bitcoin like crazy. He's, I guess, the largest corporate holder of Bitcoin in the world. And it says that right here in the article. And he just recently bought another $615 million of Bitcoin at the end of 2023. And he now owns close to 1% of all Bitcoin in the world. So this has been a huge strategic play on his part. And lots of people were like, oh my God, you're wasting the company's money. This is not sure. But now I believe his Bitcoin investment is now net positive, as in he's made money after losing a lot of money in 2023 and I believe 2022. And let's talk what it says. As Saylor reiterated over and over again, Bitcoin is the single best store of value over the long haul, even better than gold. In fact, Saylor has often opined that the market cap of Bitcoin, now just under $1 trillion, could one day approach the market cap of physical gold, which is estimated to be around $13 trillion. There are several reasons for this admittedly audacious point of view. One is that Bitcoin has a limited lifetime supply. According to the algorithm powering Bitcoin, the total lifetime supply of Bitcoin is capped at 21 million coins. We've talked about this on the podcast. We've had numerous guests about the podcast talk about this as well. Takeaway lessons for the average investor. Putting this all together, I think there are several lessons for the average investor. Perhaps the most important lesson is for a long-term outlook. And again, check out the 21 Shares YouTube channel. Our CEO, right, Henny Rashwan, talks about this long-term view. There's a bunch of shorts about it as well. That's definitely something I learned from him on a personal note. And let's keep going. This is Bitcoin for the long haul. It's easy to understand why Saylor is so unabashedly bullish on Bitcoin. But before you rush out and buy Bitcoin, make sure you fully understand the reason why Saylor is buying Bitcoin hand over fist. It's not just because Bitcoin is soaring in price, it's because Bitcoin has certain inherent properties. Now, that is something to take into account, that it makes it valuable over the long haul. And let's move on to the next story. All right, so the next story is just this. Global merchants accepting Bitcoin grew by 174% in 2023, reports BTC Map. This marked a minor drop from the September high of 6,519 merchants. BTC Map, leveraging open source and mapping data from OpenStreetMap, enables businesses and users to tag locations accepting Bitcoin payments. This rise in merchant numbers could partly be attributed to users more actively adding businesses to the database. So I know there's a bunch in the States. There's not too many here in Taiwan. But of course, you have El Salvador. I remember seeing something about Honduras, saying that Bitcoin could be a form of payment in Honduras as well. And, this article mentions the developing world as places where Bitcoin is most likely to be a way that you can pay for things. I've never actually done this. I've done P2P sort of cryptocurrency transactions where you can meet somebody up and you give them USDT and they give you something else. I've always wanted to try and send cryptocurrency. Like I bought my younger brother a gift for his birthday. And I wanted to be like, hey, bro, let me send you this money, as part of it. Because my older brother bought it first. I had to give him money. But of course, my family's not quite there yet. But this is fantastic, right? More people using Bitcoin is great. I know Bitcoin on the Lightning Network is a thing. Lots of people have talked about this again on X or Twitter last year about going to El Salvador, buying McDonald's with Bitcoin, buying Starbucks with Bitcoin. And it does work really quickly on the Lightning Network. I'm one of the people of the thought that Bitcoin will not be a payment network. I think stable coins like USDC or USDT are far better. There's a bunch of other stable coins. Solana could be better in terms of transaction speed, but this is just better. This shows greater adoption, which is always a good thing. Let's move on to our next story. Bitcoin's role as a market bellwether for the crypto industry cannot be overstated. So this article talks about who are the biggest Bitcoin holders in the world, or whatever you want to call it, right? One of the great resources we have is a 21 code Dune Analytics dashboard that I highly recommend you check. It does list some of the big institutions that are you're able to label, right? Because again, these are just crypto wallets that, somebody has figured out this is a Coinbase wallet, this is a blah, blah wallet. So go check out that link. I'll try and put that down in the show notes for today's YouTube video. But this article basically mentions who are the biggest holders of Bitcoin in the world. And we can see right here, it mentions MicroStrategy, right, with $189,150 worth of Bitcoin. Tesla still has some Bitcoin. That is the surprising thing for me because I thought Elon had sold all his Bitcoin. Coinbase, of course, has a large amount of Bitcoin, 9,000 Bitcoin. Galaxy Digital Holdings, again, 8,100 Bitcoin. The Block Inc., I wonder if that's the Block, like the media publication of the group. Bitcoin Group SE, I've never heard of them. Voyager Digital, of course. And Nexon, of course, is Nexo, I believe, and Exodus Movement Inc. Again, never heard of them. So again, lots of companies hold a large amount of Bitcoin. This also mentions private companies that hold Bitcoin, right? And of course, Mt. Gox being a big one. 200,000 Bitcoin, that is a huge amount. And again, for those of you who are not just got into crypto, Mt. Gox was a really famous place where you could buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency. They were hacked or something embezzlement happened. My memory is not the best. But now they're slowly starting to repay people who had lost money. Block.one, not sure. Tether, of course, has a large amount of Bitcoin. The Tezos Foundation, that's surprising. Stoneridge Holdings Group has 10,000 Bitcoin, which is interesting. Mining companies as well. Mining companies, Marathon Digital Holdings, again, 15,000 Bitcoin. Hut 8, of course, another huge Bitcoin miner, I believe, based out of New York. And those are companies. So definitely check out this article if you want to know who's holding Bitcoin, right? I mean, besides all the small people like you, me, and everyone else, there are a fair number of people who do hold Bitcoin. And let's move on to the last article for today. All right, the last article for today is going to be this. Someone said 1.2 million Bitcoin, $1.2 million of Bitcoin to the Genesis wallet mined by Satoshi Nakamoto. So one of the things, in cryptocurrency, right, it's horrible to transfer money. If you off by one little number or letter, your money is gone. You can't get it back unless someone says, okay, I deserve this money. I'm going to send it back to the person. That is not usually the case anyway. So this is the wallet by Satoshi Nakamoto, and someone sent $1.2 million of it. And that's the beautiful thing about the blockchain, right, is that you can see when someone does something, right? I can see it, you can see it. My friends in Massachusetts can see it. My mom in South Africa can see it, right? So what I would encourage you from this article is to be very, very, very careful when you're transferring money, when you're sending money to cryptocurrency, when you're sending it from maybe your local exchange to a bigger exchange like Coinbase or Binance. Be very careful if you're transferring it to a friend, or you're sending it to a mining pool, you're sending it to any protocol you want to try out. Make sure you check that 3, 4, 5 times, right? I did know from interviewing past guests, right, that this idea of wallet address is going to become much easier. I know lots of people are innovating in terms of just using email addresses instead of a series of numbers and letters, right? So keep that in mind. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Let me know what you think. We're going to be doing weekly Bitcoin shows for the foreseeable future because, of course, Bitcoin is the latest hotness and greatness when it comes to cryptocurrency. If you are looking for other shows, please let me know. I know we used to do a show covering just the news in general many years ago when this podcast first started. So we're still doing this once a week. And what I will be doing for the other part, I'll be doing a short video, right? A more scripted, thoughtful YouTube short video. The first one's coming out on Friday. It's going to be talking about the Cosmos ecosystem. What is Cosmos, right? And if you've never heard of it, well, tune in for the show. Check out our YouTube Shorts channel or the Shorts tab on the YouTube channel. When you go there, let me know what you think. And possibly we could do 2 new shows a week, or we could even go back to interviews. But for the moment, interviews are going to stop because we do want to grow the channel with content that people are going to look for, evergreen content, right? Which is what we're doing on my personal YouTube channel as well. It's the stuff that helps you grow in terms of building our views and watch time and all the things that YouTube sort of takes into consideration for a channel. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I enjoyed making it. I miss doing the news. I miss covering it. I miss talking about it. I miss giving my opinion as well. So let me know what you think, right? Check out the stories, support the journalists, support the publications, comment down below on the YouTube video. What do you think about Bitcoin? What do you think is going to happen in the next few days? What do you think is going to happen in the next few weeks? What's your prediction for the end of the year? And again, I can't give that, of course, but it doesn't stop you guys from. Okay. And that's it for today. I appreciate you guys checking this out. Don't forget to check out these shorts on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And we will see you guys all later.